Hi, everybody. It's Diane Neto living in Barrie. Today, I want to explain a little bit about listing agreements, listing your house, and the board that you are on. Okay, now I'll explain this. Every agent pays a fee to be a member of a board. We have to be. Okay. So in Barrie, I'm a member of the Barrie board and the Toronto board. We all have to be a member now of the Toronto board through their different systems. So through the Barrie board, I also have access to Hamilton, St. Catharines, Burlington, all down in the south. On the Toronto board, I have access to everything in Barrie, Newmarket, Richmond Hill, Vaughan. Now, the trick here is if you're listing a property and your agent isn't a member of the board that the property is actually located in, they would have to do a thing called interboarding, which costs money. So they would actually have to go fill out forms, pay $100 or $80, whatever it is, to get their listing put on the board, that board. So there's different boards throughout all of Ontario. Now, Toronto basically has everything. But if you were selling in Sarnia, that would not be on the Toronto board. So if I'm a Toronto agent and I'm looking for you in Sarnia, I have to basically use realtor.ca. I can't see the realtor remarks. I'd have to book by phoning the office. I couldn't go online and book a showing. I wouldn't have access to the realtor remarks. So when you list your property, you need to ask the agent what boards they're going to list these on. Because Toronto agents especially buy more up here, like in the Barrie area, Aurelia, all around here. It's mostly like it's a lot of Toronto buyers. So if you're not on the Toronto board or that agent isn't, then your listing isn't being seen. So unless an agent actually goes to realtor.ca, they can't see it. And we set clients up for auto searches. And the auto search is when I put in somebody's email address, and then I put in exactly what they're looking for, and they get automatic emails when new listings come in that price range. I can only do that on a board I'm a member of, right? So if I'm not a member, if your listing isn't on the board where I'm a member, my clients aren't going to see it unless they go on realtor.ca themselves. So I always put it on the Toronto board and the Barrie board. And if I do something out of board, like if I were, well, I probably wouldn't sell in Windsor, but if I was going to, I would list it on that board as well. Because you have to have the agents in that area accessible to it. I had one on the weekend where I couldn't make an appointment and I couldn't get the full listing and I couldn't get anything because they weren't on any of the boards I was on. So you need to know, especially in your area and anything in, well, almost anywhere now, you need to be on the Toronto board because Toronto buyers are buying all over the province. So like if you're not on there, they don't see it. And I hate to tell you, they're kind of lazy. They're going to go on the board. They're not going to go search realtor.ca and on this site and in that site trying to find listings. They're going to go on the board that they're a member of. They're going to put in a price range in an area and they're going to look for it. So there's lots of times where my client said, well, I had an agent before and they said it was on the Toronto board and the Barrie board. And then I look it up and it wasn't. They lied. So in Barrie right now, if you go on realtor.ca, it'll say over 1,000 listings because the Barrie board listing and the Toronto board listing both come up. So if you put an address, 2 listings come up because it's on the Toronto board and the Barrie board. So you can tell if your property is listed on both boards. All you got to do is stick in the address and 2 listings should come up. And if they don't, then it's not. So you just have to be very, very careful of that Because I know a lot of people use out of town agents, and I'm not one that really harps on, oh, you can't do that, because I've sold out of my area because my client trusts me. They've used me for years. They don't want to use anybody else. I even had them referred where I had other agents from up, up there go over, and they hated them. Diane, can you just do it? So I've done it. But you still have to then pay the money in Interboard on the board that the place is actually located in. So you got to be very careful about that and ask those questions. If you have an agent that wants to list, I don't care if it's your brother, your mother, your cousin, ask them, what boards are you putting it on? Because if you're not being seen by the right people, you're doing yourself a huge injustice, and it's going to just sit there. It's Diane Neto living in Barrie. Hit the like, hit the subscribe, drop me a comment.